So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 lead sources that my agency used to grow from $0 to $200,000 per month in recurring revenue over the last 3 or so years. My name's Luke, and I run a paid media agency that currently does around $200,000 per month in revenue, and we built it off the back of 3 primary lead sources that I want to break down for you in this video, so that if you're running an agency or you're a freelancer trying to get clients, you can start to follow in these same stages in order to get leads consistently and actually grow. Now, each of these sources helped us to go from an initial stage to a secondary stage and so on. So it's kind of like a ladder. You master the first lead source, then you stack the next lead source, and then you stack the third lead source. And really, in combination, you're driving more volume. So we've never switched off one lead source or another. But these 3 have driven us hundreds of leads. Well, no, thousands of leads, hundreds of clients. And currently, we have over 90 clients that we work with every month. So the first lead source that really got us going was actually freelancing job sites like Upwork. Now, this might sound crazy, and a lot of people I speak to today who have used Upwork or are currently on Upwork, they really struggle to get traction on there. So what we did is we actually built a system that started to run on autopilot. So it was first architected by me, and I was personally doing everything to run this process. Then gradually over time, I extricated myself from this process so that without me being involved at all and without me really even lifting a finger, every single day outreach was done on Upwork to targeted projects in our category. We would send them a high value proposal that immediately made them very excited to actually meet with us. And then finally, we made them an incredible offer to actually get on a call and talk to us about their project that ultimately led them seeing the value and hiring us. Now, this definitely was something that helped us get started because in the early days, we didn't have a lot of money for ads or for infrastructure that would help us to drive leads elsewhere. So Upwork was easy and simple because it's extremely targeted. We were able to go after the exact projects that we wanted. We were able to hit them with something, and I mean not literally, but with value that no one else was really talking about at the time. And even today, we still do extremely well from it. And ultimately, what it meant was that we were able to drive booked calls with qualified leads for really a fraction of what the cost would have been in any other channel at the time. So to give you some idea of the numbers, I believe when we first started, we were getting booked qualified meetings for around $50 per meeting. That was when I was more involved in the process. Now that I'm less involved and I have an automated system in place, we probably get booked meetings for around $200 a meeting. And these are clients that are now paying us $1,500, $2,000, even up to $5,000 or $8,000 per month in recurring revenue. So it's an extremely easy and effective way to get leads. And even now, even though there's increased competition and Upwork is charging more for connects, it's definitely the first channel that I recommend anyone start with in order to really kickstart their freelancing business or agency to be able to drive leads. Because if there's one fundamental thing you need at the start of the business, yes, you need some kind of service to offer, you need some sort of expertise, but you really need a consistent lead source where every month you know that pretty consistently you're going to be driving at least 5 to 10 warm, ready to start or interested meetings per week. So these are people that are engaged, they're looking to hire someone, and they're booking a call with you to actively learn about how you can help them solve their problem or achieve their outcome. And in our case, Upwork was that source, and it's absolutely the first place that I would recommend any freelancer or even smaller agency right now get started. So I might go into the Upwork process more in another video, so let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in that. But now I want to move on to the second lead source that really kickstarted our growth and that eventually was driving for us maybe, I'd have to say probably 30 to 40 additional meetings per month on top of Upwork and other freelancing sites. So this second lead source was basically paid ads to a funnel using Facebook. Now, this is not revolutionary by any means. Obviously, a lot of agencies talk about using paid ads to get clients. But to be honest, at the time, looking at a lot of agencies' ad funnels, especially in our category of paid advertising management, that was kind of our main service. There were not a lot of funnels that I saw really working out there. We tested replicating a couple of them, and we didn't get good results until we finally cracked it, probably on our third iteration. And the reason that this made sense as the second source is that as soon as we had the cash flow from the clients that we were winning through Upwork, that's when we had cash to deploy in order to drive more leads coming through to the business. So you might see a lot of ads right now on Facebook like, hey, we guarantee you 30 leads or customers per month or whatever. These kinds of more aggressive ads. We took a completely different approach, and an approach, honestly, that is still working to this day. So the approach that we took was really focusing like top of funnel, sort of problem aware type people. And if you don't know what that means, that essentially means people that have an issue with their marketing, have an issue with one of the paid platforms that our services were centered around, and were then looking for a solution, but weren't really sure what that solution was. So this is the type of ad where it's really speaking to the pain points of the customer. It's speaking to the issues that they've got, and then by speaking to those issues and articulating those problems maybe even better than they understand them themselves, attracting those people into an opt-in to a video where we actually outlined why they were having those issues and how to solve them. Now, this was not a typical VSL. This wasn't a VSL that was like, super aggressive with an offer. It wasn't some like, crazy orchestrated direct response type VSL. This really was a VSL that really demonstrated credibility and expertise, and really demonstrated that we knew what we were doing, that we had proof that we'd gotten the results before for other clients. And again, that's why Upwork is a great place to start, because it's a great place to cut your teeth, test your skills, and build out your portfolio of case studies, and also build your confidence. All of that were then translated into the case studies and the results and the proof and the sort of the methodology that we had in our new VSL that we ran paid traffic to. So this VSL, it honestly was about 20 to 30 minutes long, and it started talking again about the problems that they had, really calling out some of the changes in the marketplace. So it really felt like it was like news that they needed to pay attention to, and then bringing them into an explanation and a breakdown of each of the different issues and how to solve them. Now, was the purpose of this to kind of educate them so that they go off and do it themselves? Well, if they were really on the ball, perhaps they could have done that, because we really didn't hold anything back in this video. But ultimately what it showed them was, this is really complicated. We don't fully understand how to do this. So I'm going to take advantage of the offer that we then presented at the end of the video. That was, book a call with us. We're going to review your setup and give you immediate recommendations. And you can then take those recommendations and use them yourself, or you can get us to implement for you. And lo and behold, the more people that booked a call to hear about the recommendations and who saw the recommendations and saw how complicated it was, the more clients we actually started signing up. So paid ads were now on and running and driving maybe 20 to 30 meetings per month. Upwork and other channels like that, freelancing sites, etc., job sites, they were running, they were still generating maybe 2 to 3 qualified book calls a month. And then we added the third piece, which now has honestly become our sort of secret weapon, or not so secret weapon, I'm sure you'll see, and has now really started to drive the majority of the volume in our entire business. So our third lead source that now drives approximately 50% of the lead volume that we get every month at my agency, that is now really managed by my business partner, who does an incredible job with the videos, is YouTube. So why YouTube? Well, when you make a video on YouTube, that video is accessible and viewable not just today like Instagram or TikTok or others, but is searched and found and watched by people for the next year, 2 years, even 3 years or longer. So the incredible thing about YouTube is that it compounds every time you post a video. It continues to grow volume, and we know that this continues even beyond the growth that we've had with YouTube, because we've actually been to masterminds of people that have had YouTube as their primary channel. and they have thousands of videos, and each video continues to produce clicks, views, and leads and booked calls and clients for them. So the challenge with YouTube, though, is that when you're starting, it doesn't produce results straight away. This is the key to Upwork. It's instant, and it starts producing leads immediately or almost immediately, and it drives leads for a lowest cost. Then if you go to paid, it's still very quick, but the cost is higher because you're now having to outlay ad spend to the platform. But the third one, which is YouTube, it doesn't have a direct cost because you're not paying to promote the videos. It doesn't have a ceiling on the amount of leads you can get from it. I mean, the ceiling is basically the size of the entire market. But the biggest downside of it in the short term, and the reason why it was the third strategy that we built, is that it takes time to grow. So it probably took us about 12 months to start getting a relatively consistent trickle of leads through. And that is, by the way, by posting approximately one high quality video per week on the channel. But by the end of 12 months, we were starting to get, I would say, probably 10 to 20 good quality booked calls in our calendar, in our sales team's calendar every month. And by the end of 2 years, that number had grown to 40 to 50 qualified booked calls per month. And this number is continuing to grow as we continue to publish high quality content to the channel, and to continue to grow our audience and our subscriber base. So the combination of all of these three channels now for us drives approximately 150 applications to work with us per month. And what that now means is, with that volume, we really can get more selective about the clients that we choose to take on. We can increase our fees, which means that we're actually making more per client. We can also deliver a high quality service because we have the funds to actually hire good quality people to fulfill on those clients. And we're also able to position ourselves as a premium offering in the market because we have the authority and credibility that's come from the YouTube channel and our brand in general. So the three of these now, we do continue to run all three, as well as some others that contribute to our lead volume, but these are the core three. And so if I was starting an agency today, this would be the sequence that I would actually launch these three channels in. Number one, honestly, I would be getting an Upwork profile set up. I would be building a system that initially would be manually done while you're refining it and getting it to work. And then after you are seeing consistent results from the Upwork system, you would want to then be automating that process so that it runs daily on a schedule, like absolute clockwork, and produces those booked calls and clients every single month. Now, again, you're going to hit a ceiling with Upwork at a certain point, and that's where you would add in paid ads. So let's just say the timeline to launch and get Upwork really humming is probably like 1 to 2 months, maybe 3 months at max. At the end of that period, at the end of 3 months, I would then be looking to launch paid ads, using the case studies, using the results, and using the success that I've produced from the clients from Upwork and job sites, and using the funds and the cash that has been produced by those clients to initially start spending on paid ads. So I would definitely be suggesting for any agencies out there to be using Meta ads over and above other ad platforms, only because you are able to drive clicks relevant and interested in your offer for a lower cost. So your efficiency is much higher on Meta, as long as you have ads that really grab the attention of your target market, that really speak to their pain points and problems and frustrations, and that direct those people to a highly valuable training video that ultimately presents them with an offer to book a meeting with you. So that would be what I would launch start of month 3, so that for months 4, 5, and 6, you've got Upwork humming in the background and you're starting to test and iterate on the paid ad side. And really by the end of that period, you should have a very, very strong foundation built so that you can start to allocate 1 day per week in order to record high quality video and publish it to your YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel then continues to compound over time. You may be able to scale your paid ads during this time frame, spending from maybe $1,500 or even just $2,000 a month, maybe when you're starting, up to $5, $10, $20, even $30,000 a month plus to drive a lot more volume of leads. The reason that I don't say do all of this in 1 month is that you can only grow so fast with the infrastructure that you have. So you need to be able to drive quality leads at a good cost in a time frame that makes sense and at a volume that you can actually handle and fulfill on, and then continue to increase the volume of leads as your company grows and as you have more infrastructure and more fulfillment capacity to actually deliver high quality services to those leads in your agency. So that would be the timeline. At the end of month 3, going between month 3 and 6, you've got your Facebook ads funnel running, and then you're starting to publish 1 YouTube video per week, and that just doesn't stop. And so over the next 1 year, 2 years, that's how the agency continues to go like this. So, at our end, we were never really interested in growing, in 3 months or 6 months. We were planning for the long term. We want to build an agency that does $10-20 million a year in revenue, and that's absolutely the trajectory we're on right now. And these 3 sources were what got us started. So hopefully this helps you if you're running a freelancing business or an agency and you're trying to figure out like what lead sources actually work today. These are the 3 that I can tell you unequivocally are producing a huge number of qualified meetings and new clients for us every month. And so these are the 3 that I would recommend you get started on. So thanks for watching, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.